It's such an important thing and a great cause. It'll make you feel good, especially on this gloomy, cold day. Warm and fuzzies inside.
Yeah, inside only, pretty much, right? It's been pretty cold and chilly over the past few days. In fact, you can see from our 4-box cam, you can still see a lot of gloomy conditions across the local area. Still a little bit of patchy drizzle, but for the most part, that's wrapping up now. As you can see, all of that rain heading off into the Atlantic Ocean. Front number 1 already moving through. That's still going to allow, though, for at least a few areas of some really high moisture content. That's going to allow for another morning with some areas of patchy fog. Right now, the best chance looks to be along and south there of the Charlotte metro area. And then we're pretty much clearing out that fog by about 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. And actually tomorrow morning, not too bad, mid 30s there, but you're going to need the heavy coat all the way through the weekend and early next week. In fact, this colder air moving in behind this front that really just brought us the rain today, that's not going anywhere. In fact, even tomorrow's afternoon, high temperatures up toward the mountains, mid to upper 30s. We have low 50s for the foothills, about 53 degrees for Charlotte, which our normal high this time of year sits at about 55. So we're close to it, but just a touch higher. And that'll pretty much be the case mid to upper 50s across the Piedmont and Sandhills too. However, tomorrow, probably going to be one of the warmest days we will see in that 7-day forecast. In fact, we're freezing Saturday morning. We're in the upper 20s Sunday morning, and daytime high Saturday in the lower 50s. We see a few clouds, and that's because we have a reinforcing shot of cold air. That's putting us at a high of only 47 degrees on Sunday. As the Panthers are back at home at Bank of America Stadium, don't forget to look at where those seats are. If you're sitting in the direct sun, it can feel up to 10 degrees warmer, but if you're in that shade, you are going to need that jacket, especially because that breeze kind of gets stuck behind in the eddies, you know, the little wind tunnels that form, and it can get downright cold. In fact, speaking of downright cold, look at this. A 90% chance that the next 6 to 10 days, we are going to be in that significantly colder than normal for this time of year, which day 10 is December 25th. So this preview actually does include, this cold air preview does include Christmas weekend, Saturday, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day there on Sunday. And also, as we have this cold air and we're tracking the chance of some precipitation coming in at around the same time, that begs the question, could we have wintry precipitation here, even in the Carolinas? Well, what we've been watching over the past few weeks has been a favorable pattern. Right now, we're at about 7 to 8 days out, so we can kind of check off pattern recognition. That's number 1 on Brad's winter weather forecasting rules. So we know there's a favorable pattern to see some kind of wintry precipitation here in the southeast. Now, what I'll tell you is that models are still kind of all over the place, which means they're not in agreement. And what's important to look at this point is the trends, whether or not they go up and down, whether or not they stay the same, and whether or not they can be consistent even with their ensemble models. And I'll tell you what that is in just a second. So latest update here, here's the European model. You can see it keeps all of that snow potential up toward the mountains. The GFS, the American's a little bit more aggressive, but here's where the ensemble comes in. So the GFS, what we call a deterministic run, it's one run that happens every couple of hours. But the ensembles are 52 different models that take those small little forecast changes and then rerun them. So it's essentially this model changed 52 times an average. Look at what it's showing. Similar to the European. So we have to watch these changes. We have to watch these trends over the next few days to know whether or not that's really a significant risk for us. And again, the time frame for this would be next Thursday and Friday. So we have a lot of changes to talk about, a lot of changes over the next 7-10 days. Trust WCNC Charlotte's weather team to keep you updated. But that Guy Roofing 7-day forecast, at least from now through next Wednesday, we can tell you it's going to be sunny but colder. Highs in the 40s and 50s, overnight lows in the 20s and 30s. But even after we get past Thursday and Friday of next week with that small chance of wintry precip, as we look closer to Christmas, we know it's going to get even colder. So prepare for that. We'll be right back.